This pro-liberty podcast is brought to you by the Health Ranger Store. Visit healthrangerstore.com/MAGA. That's MAGA, like Make America Great Again. Thank you for your support. I want to be clear, big tech is Skynet. Big tech is at war with humanity. It's not a metaphor. They're in an actual state of warfare against humanity, and big tech wants to see human beings exterminated and destroyed. And they're starting that by destroying human knowledge. So where Google, its goal used to be stated as they wanted to organize and preserve human knowledge. Now their goal is to destroy human knowledge and to destroy and discredit and deplatform the voices that actually impart human knowledge. Google and big tech, they are Skynet. Go back to the Terminator movies. Take a look at that. Look how humanity fought against Skynet and how Skynet took over the defense systems and launched nuclear weapons against us, knowing that the other nations would respond to the first strike and that most of humanity would be wiped out, and then the robots could rise up and take over. This is the way big tech is now operating to destroy small businesses, destroy economies, destroy human knowledge, destroy freedom of speech, destroy democracy and elections, leaving only the AI systems in charge. That's what's happening right now. That's reality. But there is a way to defeat big tech, and that's the focus of this podcast. This is Mike Adams, by the way, on May 30th, 2020. And of course, I've been viciously, maliciously censored by all the tech platforms for telling you information like this, for sharing the truth, pro-human truth, by the way. But big tech can be defeated. And just yesterday, Trump signed the executive order that is the first shot across the bow of the tech giants, threatening to essentially have the tech giants investigated for criminality, unfair and deceptive trade practices, threatening to use the power of the federal government to force them to respect First Amendment protections for freedom of speech. The tech giants are going to ignore that because they believe that they are God. They believe they're more powerful than any nation in the world. And they do have more money than most nations in the world, by the way. You look at the cash reserves of Google and Apple and, even Amazon and so on. It's extraordinary how much cash they have. But guess where that cash comes from? It comes from selling the data that they gather from spying on their own users. So when YouTube delivers videos to you and you see some little ad, trust me, the ad doesn't pay for YouTube. I know this because I run Brighteon.com, which is an alternative to YouTube, and Brighteon is losing money every day, even though we run ads. You just can't monetize it sufficiently just on ads alone. The only way to monetize video systems is to spy on your users, gather metadata and psychological profiles of your users, and then sell that data, which is something that we don't do, but it's what drives Google and their profits, and Facebook, of course, and Twitter. It's all about gathering data surreptitiously, spying on users, and then selling that data to foreign actors. And who is Google protecting on the global stage today? Oh, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. The communists. China, the enemies of America. This is who Google works with, and this is who Facebook works with, and this is who Twitter works with, and YouTube. And all the tech giants, they are puppets of communist China. And I did an important story about that on NaturalNews.com, talking about how big tech has gone pinko and giving examples of each of the tech giants, how they have sold out to the communist Chinese. Twitter openly hires communists to run some of its content moderation programs, for example. Google builds engines to help communist China censor freedom, crush humanity, and effectively, indirectly run organ harvesting and torture programs. This is what Google builds for the communists. And let me ask you this. If they build those systems for communist China, do you think they'll have any ethical qualms about an authoritarian left-wing regime in America that engages in organ harvesting and the executions of political dissidents and the arrests of their political enemies? No. Google has no ethics. In fact, they have anti-ethics. They seek pain and suffering and destruction and demonic outcomes. They are satanic, and on the political spectrum, they are communists. They want destruction, and they will use their power to cause maximum human suffering and destruction. They are criminals against humanity. They are the enemies of our world. The people who work for Google, the people who run Google, the people who run Facebook, these are criminals. They should, every last one of them, be arrested and prosecuted for crimes against humanity. And yet, they are the gatekeepers of all speech. They determine what you're allowed to read or speak or share. And they are in charge of all online debates and conversations. They are in charge of determining what is a fact and what is the depth of human knowledge. And yet they are anti-knowledge gatekeepers. They crush knowledge. They destroy human wisdom. But they're doing it for profit because they get to sell the data to China. And the reason that's going to stop, this is how Google is abolished, destroyed, is when President Trump or some combination of senators and lawmakers and the president and so on, or even the Pentagon, decides to stop Google from selling surveillance data on American citizens to enemy foreign nations such as China. When that day comes, Google's entire revenue model collapses, and Google collapses, and Facebook collapses. You see, these are not tech companies. They are spying hubs that are working for communist China. China pays them billions. The CIA protects the businesses. The media protects their dominance. And they spy on the American people. They sell the data to America's enemies. This is their entire revenue model. And that revenue model can be cut off at the knees by President Trump or someone else. And it's going to happen. And one of the ways that may happen is that we could find ourselves in a war with China before the end of this year. Already tensions are flaring. China has basically declared war on Hong Kong, which we are likely to try to help defend the freedom of the Hong Kong people against the authoritarian communist corruption of China. We are allies with Taiwan, very important freedom, pillar of Asia. We're allies with Japan. We're allies with South Korea and so on. China will be threatening them all. China will try to invade and conquer Taiwan, South Korea, even Japan. China is going to for its own reasons, for its own internal reasons, China's current political elite will be deposed from power unless they start a war. And in fact, they've already started it. The Wuhan coronavirus was the first wave of a pandemic, a biological warfare attack on the world. But it's just the first wave. China is also telling the tech giants who to censor, who to shut down. And all it's going to take is for Trump to declare big tech to be enemy combatants. Google is an enemy combatant working for China in a state of war against the United States of America. Facebook is an enemy combatant that is engaged in actual warfare against the United States of America in order to defend and protect China. That's why Facebook allows China to control the narrative on the coronavirus. China and the Chinese communists infiltrated WHO. Not Americans. No, Americans are never allowed to speak the truth about the coronavirus or vaccines or abortions or transgenderism or anything. It's all about protecting communism on Facebook. Same thing with Twitter. It's about allowing Chinese communism to control every conversation, to set every narrative. That's because Jack Dorsey is an enemy traitor of the United States. He is a criminal against America. Mark Zuckerberg is a criminal traitor working for China. Sundar Pichai from Google, same thing, a criminal, treasonous traitor, should face arrest and prosecution and perhaps execution if that's what the court decides is appropriate for his crimes against America. These are enemies. Trump is finally realizing that this is the case. I've been talking about this for well over a couple of years now. Trump has finally declared war on big tech. And make no mistake, his executive order is just the opening salvo here. He does not expect big tech to follow his executive order and just magically do the right thing and suddenly start following the law and suddenly start respecting the rules of the land of America, respecting the First Amendment, respecting human dignity and freedom. No, he does not expect them to do that. He knows they're going to thumb their noses at him, and that big tech is going to say, no, we're gonna keep destroying human knowledge and rigging all the conversations and controlling the narratives and protecting communist China, because that's what they do. That's what they exist for. They are anti-America. They are anti-human. They are about destroying the United States of America and every living human being that calls himself or herself an American, or even a Christian for that matter, by the way, or a Trump supporter. Trump knows that the executive order is just laying the groundwork for what is yet to come. Because I can see a day where the United States government seizes the domain names, google.com, twitter.com, facebook.com, youtube.com, Wikipedia as well. The government seizes the domain names, arrests the CEOs, seizes the bank accounts of all these corporations, including Apple and Tim Cook, by the way, who's engaged in the same treasonous crimes against America. And their bank accounts will be seized. They will be arrested. The military, if necessary, military police, will conduct the arrests and prosecute these criminals for their crimes against the United States of America in a time of war, as they are speaking on behalf of China's Communist Party to utterly destroy the United States of America. So Trump can immediately shut down big tech by declaring them to be enemy combatants, seizing their domain names, and cutting off their revenue model by stopping them from selling data to the enemies of the United States. Think about the power of that. We could live in a world where we finally have the freedom to speak. We could wake up one morning without the evils of Wikipedia and Google and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Vimeo and Apple and Amazon hanging around our necks, telling us what we're allowed to say, what we're allowed to think, what we're allowed to read or share or speak or post or design as a meme. Wouldn't that be a miracle to wake up one day and not have these evils existing in our world? To see that they're shut down, maybe even burned down after their principals are arrested, and their buildings are shuttered and their bank accounts are seized, and their principals are prosecuted for their crimes, their acts of war against the United States of America. That's the future that I invite you to join me in imagining and helping to make real. That's a future that is pro-human. That's a future where we are free to talk about natural medicine, the dangers of vaccines, the promise of CBD, the usefulness of colloidal silver without being censored. Or where we can criticize the mainstream media. We can criticize some silly policy of transgenderism athletes competing, biological men on the women's team in college wrestling or something. Imagine a world where we are once again free to speak. That world has been stolen from us by these evil technocrats and their treason. And they are trying to rig our elections. They're trying to steal the elections. They are trying to bankrupt all of their smaller business competitors. They are engaged in antitrust activities that are criminal at the deepest level. Imagine a world without them. That's the world that we need to create, a world without Google, a world without Facebook, a world without YouTube, a world without Twitter. It's a much better world for all of us. It's a world where we have the freedom to express ourselves, the freedom to think, the freedom to have diversity of ideas and diversity of speech, a world where we have the freedom to be creative in our expression without being shamed or blacklisted or demonetized or maliciously smeared or blocked by these evil tech giants. Imagine a world without Skynet. This is what we must fight for. And we must be prepared to fight with everything, life and death. The future of humanity is at stake. If Skynet wins, humanity dies. If we defeat Skynet, i.e. big tech, however, then humanity goes on to flourish with incredible abundance and creativity and, frankly, happiness and spiritual freedom. Defeating big tech is now the single most important task that humanity must achieve. And their defeat and their dismantling and them being abolished from our world must be achieved either by governments or by people or by whatever nonviolent means are necessary to accomplish this, they must be taken down and permanently abolished from ever rising up again to haunt humanity with their malicious lies, their fraud, their deception, their brainwashing, their destruction, their evil, twisted aims and agendas to crush human freedom. That's what they stand for. And never forget that all of them, Apple, Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, they're all working for China. They're working for the Communist Party to undermine and destroy the United States of America and to destroy the American people, to mass murder. This is about genocide, ultimately. It's about killing the American people, killing the American economy, killing American democracy. And China's already got a foothold in California. It's taken over California politics. It's taken over much of the West Coast, at least the liberal cities. And China wants to take over the entire United States. That's why they launched the bioweapon, folks. They built it, they deployed it, and then they bought big tech. And they have big tech working for China. I urge you, join me in calling on the United States government, President Trump, Senator Hawley, Congressman Matt Gaetz, others. We must band together and defeat Skynet, big tech, the way we defeated the Third Reich. We must recognize that this is an existential threat to our future, to our very nation, to who we are living today as human beings, as Americans. Skynet will destroy us if we don't dismantle it first. We have to pull the plug on Skynet. We've got to pull the plug. We've got to shut it down, or we will be utterly destroyed, annihilated by it. That much is clear. It's time to pull the plug. Join me in calling for this and support our lawmakers and support our president, who have finally declared war against big tech. It's time to take that war to Silicon Valley, surround their buildings, dismantle their operations, prosecute the criminals who built those systems, and set humanity free once and for all. This is Mike Adams here, the Health Ranger. Thank you for listening. NaturalNews.com and Brighteon.com, both of which have been utterly, completely banned and blacklisted by all the tech companies that are the criminals against humanity. That tells you how important and how powerful this message is, that they would blacklist it. You're not allowed to hear what you just heard. Shh. Don't tell anybody that this is humanity's most desperate hour. And if we don't defeat Skynet, we will be annihilated. You're not allowed to tell anybody that truth. So share it quietly. Thank you for listening. I know you have a lot of choices of where to get your superfoods and supplements, personal care products, and so on. To find all these solutions and more, just go to healthrangerstore.com/MAGA, M-A-G-A. healthrangerstore.com/MAGA, as in Make America Great Again. You'll find hundreds of solutions there that can enhance and help protect your health. Again, that's healthrangerstore.com/MAGA. At the Health Ranger Store, we are a pro-liberty, pro-life, pro-freedom, pro-America manufacturer and direct distributor. We sell direct to customers, offering extraordinary values on these products. Lab tested and verified. We test all of our products for bacteria, E. coli, salmonella, yeast and mold, heavy metals, lead, cadmium, arsenic, mercury, much more. Also glyphosate, an herbicide, and other pesticides and herbicides are being added to our testing procedure to make sure that we bring you safe, verified, clean supplements that you just don't get anywhere else. I mean, Amazon.com is a joke compared to us. The Wall Street Journal even did a story exposing the thousands of contaminated, illegal, banned, toxic supplements and products that Amazon sells. We wouldn't sell that because we have ethics, we have morality, we're honest, we have integrity as a manufacturer and a provider of these products. Check us out, healthrangerstore.com. Over 700 different products are available right now. High-end supplements, superfoods, personal care products, even fragrance-free products that are eco-friendly for your home, such as laundry detergent, body soap, dishwasher detergent, and many other products. You'll find just an incredible assortment at healthrangerstore.com, and most importantly, your purchases there help support our ongoing efforts to spread the message of liberty and freedom and pro-life, respecting life in all its forms, and and having a nation and a world that operates with ethics and morality, so that we might have a sustainable human civilization, not one that's collapsing in destitution and suffering, which is what the radical left and the communists want to bring about. So support us, and we support humanity. HealthRangerStore.com. I thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at HealthRangerStore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at HealthRangerStore.com.